The air inside the manor had grown impossibly thick, every breath a struggle against the suffocating weight of unseen forces. The moment Emily and I crossed the threshold of the grand hall, the doors behind us slammed shut with a deafening finality. The glow of the chandeliers flickered wildly, casting erratic shadows that danced like malevolent specters upon the walls. Victor's presence was palpable, his voice slithering through the air like a whispering wind. "You are almost ready," he murmured, his tone laced with amusement, with hunger. Emily's grip on my hand tightened as we moved forward, each step uncertain, the floor beneath us groaning like a living thing. The paintings of the Blackwood brides seemed to shimmer, their faces distorting, their smiles stretching unnaturally wide. My pulse pounded in my ears as the realization settled in. There was no turning back. The house had sealed itself around us, a tomb preparing to welcome its newest inhabitants. We reached the center of the hall, where an ornate altar had been erected, draped in crimson fabric, its surface covered in symbols that pulsed with a sickly glow. Victor stood beside it, his form shifting like a mirage, his once human features now fully contorted into something monstrous. His eyes, dark and endless, bore into mine. "It is time," he declared, extending a hand toward Emily. She let out a strangled sob, shaking her head. "No," she whispered, stepping back, but the air behind her shimmered, warping like heat waves rising from asphalt. Figures emerged from the distortion, translucent forms dressed in wedding gowns stained with age and decay. Their eyes, hollow yet pleading, fixed upon her with an eerie desperation. They were the brides before her, the ones who had failed to escape, doomed to repeat this nightmare for eternity. A cold hand clutched my shoulder, and I spun around, coming face to face with a bride whose features bore an uncanny resemblance to Emily's. "You mustn't fight," she rasped, her voice a mere breath of wind. "He will break you." Her fingers dug into my skin, her form flickering like a candlelight. "But if you play along, if you follow the ritual, you might find a way." Victor's patience was waning. The walls trembled with his growing irritation, the very foundation of the manor groaning as if in protest. "Kneel," he commanded. Emily gasped as unseen forces yanked her forward, dragging her to her knees before the altar. I tried to lunge for her, but something constricted around my chest, an invisible grip squeezing the breath from my lungs. I watched helplessly as Victor produced a dagger, its blade gleaming with an unnatural sheen. He pressed it against Emily's palm, his touch disturbingly gentle. "A simple vow," he cooed, "a single drop of blood to seal the bond." The blade bit into her skin, and a crimson bead welled up, rolling down her trembling fingers. The room responded instantly. The air crackled, the shadows deepened, and the spectral brides wailed in unison, their agony reverberating through the space. Desperation surged through me. I fought against the unseen force pinning me down, my mind racing for a solution. The whispers of the trapped brides intertwined with my thoughts, their words disjointed, fractured. Break the cycle, disrupt the vow, refuse the seal. Emily's tear-streaked gaze met mine, and in that instant, I understood. She had to reject him. She had to refuse. With every ounce of strength I could muster, I forced out a single word. "Emily, say no." Her lips parted, her voice barely a whisper. "No." The moment the word left her mouth, the manor convulsed, the walls splitting as a deafening roar erupted from Victor. The dagger clattered to the floor, the glow of the symbols flickering wildly before extinguishing altogether. The wailing of the brides grew deafening, their forms becoming more solid, more real. Victor staggered back, his twisted form writhing, his fury manifesting as tendrils of darkness that lashed out in all directions. "You dare defy me?" he snarled, his voice distorted with rage. Emily scrambled to her feet, reaching for me as the manor itself began to collapse. The spectral brides surged forward, their translucent hands clawing at Victor, pulling him into their endless torment. The last thing I saw before the world was consumed by darkness was Emily's hand reaching for mine, our fingers brushing as the manor crumbled around us.